So pretty much, hi, I'm Sandra Basahan, and I'm a licensed financial educator. Now, I'm a mother of two boys. I have a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. I have my background, my degree is in criminal justice and cybersecurity. Actually, my full-time job, or I would call it, is in the cybersecurity industry. Now, I transited into financial services last year. And what led me to doing this? I'm in tech, so it's comfortable there financially, but as a mom, I think one of the things about wanting to have more time with your children, for me, that's became very important to me, and not missing a lot of activities due to work. So that's kind of what I transitioned me into this industry. And and I have the ability to be able to own my own business as well and do that. So my goal for the ladies here, I know we're all moms, and especially with the immigrant community, we moved to a new place when we're just moving here. And of course, we are trying to navigate what that looks like with, the family and career-wise, and of course, just being the glue of our home. So having the ability to be able to be financially independent, it's paramount. Oh, good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
Thank you for joining us. So as a mom, just having the ability to be home, and not just home, but of course having that financial independence as well, and providing for my family, but being present as well. So that's what's important to me. And one of the goals that I have for the ladies today was to have them, we can start from budgeting. How do we budget out whatever we have? How do we make sure that our money is working for us in the most effective way? And that's the goal. So I will say, personally, in terms of whatever financial resources that we have, we should be able to say at least 30% of that money should go towards our living expenses. And a percentage of our income should go towards funding our household. And of course, I would say, and depends on what your capacity is in terms of the your finances, at least a good 20% should go towards saving for the future of us. Because with everybody here in the US, there's always something that would need our financial attention at some point. So having the ability to have the storehouse where we've already saved for the rainy day, as it were, that's quite important. So that was one of the major things I wanted to share with the ladies. And I wanted to see if anybody had any questions. That way we can be able to discuss, and hopefully I want to come back and speak to the ladies and see what they will need in terms of any expertise on my end, and see how I can be of more resources to them as well. So that is what I have.
Sandra, could you speak a little bit more about, the percentages? Like we hear a lot of, at least 10%, 20% of your income should be going to savings. But we actually know a lot of people, the majority of people in the USA are living really paycheck to paycheck. Only about 18% of people make over $100,000 a year, which is crazy because the major cities are so incredibly expensive.
Right.
So what would you say in terms of like that percentage and how flexible those percentages are when you are living paycheck to paycheck?
And that's a very good question. Thank you for that. I would say on the average, you should be, especially if we are in the lower income bracket as a family, depends on the size of the family, you should be saving at least 20% of your income. That's realistically, but let's be practical about this, especially with the inflation right now is about 3% in the US, and the rising cost of goods and services are going up, but our paychecks are not compensating that cost, that increase. So it's just about coming back to budget. And I would say that it's about budgeting, because I've seen people, even in my work, I've seen people that make well over $200,000, and they're still living paycheck to paycheck. So sometimes it's not about the money, the amount of money that you have, it's about the principle and the discipline that we already have, even when we have the little. If you come to a point where, hey, I'm going to live below my means, what that looks like, that could mean getting a smaller apartment. That could mean clipping coupons to buy your groceries. I still do that. And I still do that because I feel like sometimes we look at some practices and thinking, well, that's below us. No, it cannot be below us because right now it's all the economic crunch is all over the world. I said this to somebody, I think it was a couple of weeks ago that I was in an environment like this. And I was saying to people, we used to have a situation. I'm from Nigeria. I was born and raised in Nigeria. So I'm an immigrant as well. My parents came here. I was born there. So I'm almost first generation immigrant here as well. One of the things that we as immigrant families do, we not only support our families here in the US, we have to support folks back home as well. There used to be a situation where the people abroad were very, well, we were kind of comfortable where we had enough extra to send back home. Right now, it's like almost like a global pandemic of financial crisis right now. It's not just the people in Nigeria, the people in South America, the people in Africa, or even in Europe. It's everybody's going through it at the same time. So now how do we collectively find a solution that can be favorable to everybody in the family? And that goes back into, and I say this, living well below your means. That is important. It may seem sometimes like it's unrealistic. You'll be very shocked that you can, if you make a determination that come rain, come sunshine, I'm going to save $20 a month or even a week. Let's start from weekly savings. $20 a week. $20 a week in a month. We are looking at almost $80, right? $80 in 10 months. That's $800. Well, look almost you can save $1,000 if you're really intentional about it. Because, and you have to have that emergency fund because emergency will happen. So how do we do that? It's just, honestly, I'll say, be very intentional about managing your budget. Because if you cannot manage when it's not in the best and as robust as you would like it to be, you will think it's a money problem, but actually, when it becomes more, you will realize very quickly it's a discipline problem, not really necessarily a money problem. So that's why let's go into that habit already of, if you're saying 10%, put your 10% away. Come rain, come sun, put it away. And I know people, I can come in here and tell you investment. That's what I do, right? But that is disingenuous sometimes. You have to be comfortable before you start thinking about investment. And what do I mean? Have an emergency fund. That's your savings. When your bills are paid, you have that cushion already put together. Then you can think about investment. Because I've heard people say, well, you need to invest first. But don't you have to have something to invest? Of what's
that is a question I have, because it's like, okay, so fine, as of today, start taking away $20. But would you really recommend you save your money in a savings account liquid until X amount, or how would you recommend people store the savings?
Perfect. There are account portfolios that you can have that grows by compound interest, and your savings account is not one of those. Your checking account is not. If you're putting your money in your checking account, you're getting 0.1% interest on that money. And the savings account, on the average savings account, is 0.2%. You have portfolios out there. You have index annuity. You have life insurance. Then you can, in index annuity, you can get up to 5% on that money. And not only that, it grows by compound interest, and those are protected against market loss. Because most middle class has 401k, correct? That is what we're told. Save for your retirement in 401k. But with the up and down of the markets and market crashing maybe every other 10 years, because we had the dot-com crash in 2000, we had the real estate crash in 2008. And now we just went through COVID. And if you've looked in your 401k statement, there's been a lot of loss. With the war going on right now in the Middle East, there's already noise about the markets not doing so great. So there are accounts that are going to grow for you more than the traditional and savings account. And those where index comes in, index annuity. And I know we'll talk about life insurance. The first thing people talk about is, life insurance. But there are a lot of insurance that can grow your money for you. There's accounts such as index life insurance that grows your money for you with at least 8% interest on that money.
So can you just explain very basically what an index fund is and how can people, access it?
Correct. Perfect. An index fund, pretty much there are three ways that money grows here in the US. You have the fixed rates, the fixed growth, which is the traditional saving and checking accounts, the certificate of deposit. Those grows in a fixed way. Now you have the variable, which is your stocks, your Bitcoin, your Roth IRAs, your IRAs, and of course 401k. You can gain very quickly on top of that, and those are by prayers. They will say. They grow and you lose. They grow and you lose. They grow and you lose. Now, the third bucket that a lot of middle class have not been privy to is the index, where your money grows and it locks. So when the market takes a nosedive, your gains are already locked in there. It's pretty much, and when the market picks back up, you get another gain. And when the market is losing, your money is locked in. So you're not losing any money in that account. So that's how the index grow. And two accounts that are under the index are life insurance and index annuities. And those are the two accounts that grow in that bucket.
So you can only access index funds through life insurance then?
Not you can add not only through life insurance, you can do that through index annuity as well.
So then again, like just to establish it very clearly, I have $500 today that I want to put into an index fund. What is step one?
Step one is I have to run an application for you, and I will let you know based on your age if you put in your money in there based on your age and how you grow over the years and what policy you have as well.
And so
and the reason why life insurance with an index annuity is important is the life insurance in index annuity has a living benefit attached to it. Now, what is that? I know most middle class people, we all work. And I will always ask my client this: what is your financial goal? And if you stop working today, how long would you survive? And I'm going to ask you this, Ms. Marlin, how long would you survive today if you stop working? Do you think realistically?
Few months, maybe a year.
Maybe a year, good. Now, what happened if that's a result of an illness, a critical illness, heart attack, stroke, cancer, end-stage renal failure, or even better still, paralysis? What do you think that would look like?
Yeah, no, obviously that impacts things severely.
Absolutely. So that is why life insurance with living benefits and index annuity is important, because that living benefits in the life insurance, it serves as an income protection for you as well. If any of those things we call, God forbid, the illnesses comes, your policy will pay up to 90% of your face value. And that is where that income protection comes in. As well as it's growing by index as well, and compound interest in your money is growing over the years. So you have that income as well protection, as well as a savings account that is growing simultaneously with it.
So then you're basically saying people should mostly do this through a broker like Fidelity or somebody from an insurance company, Liberty Mutual. Like, how would you recommend people go about it?
Perfect. I am a licensed, I'm an independent licensed agent. So I work with lots of different companies. And if you don't mind, let me share this with you real quickly, because there is not one fit all in terms of who you can work with. These are the various vendors that I am licensed with.
And Sandra, while you're searching for that, what's the minimum amount? This is for me speaking. What's the minimum amount that one can start with or range investing in?
Perfect. Let me share my screen with you. Hold on. Share screen. Momentum. Okay. Perfect. The minimum amount is based, it's not one size fit all for everyone. And I will say this. Hold on 1 second. Let me. Perfect. Can you see my screen? So these are the various providers that I'm licensed with. I have Transamerica here. I have Nationwide, Pacific Life, Prudential, Franklin Templeton. So you as a client, and this is what I say, when I'm speaking to my client, the first thing I'm doing an assessment of where you're at and where you would like to go. With that understanding, I will be able to advise you based on the different services that this provider that I'm licensed with provide, and we can talk about this. This is not just about me saying go to this person. I'm basing it on your specific need. And to answer your question is what is the minimum? I cannot give you that as a definite answer because it's going to be based on your age and based on what policy you're going to be getting. And this is not even, you still have to, because it is a life insurance at the end of the day, right? We still have to put an application to see if you're qualified before we even go through.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Sandra. This is Excel. So this is really, if I heard you well, very limited to life insurance, and for good reason. It's good to have life insurance, but if a person did not want to, for whatever reason, what other ways are people able to budget and save money and make their money work for them?
Perfect. Yeah, if you do not want to go to the life insurance route, of course, like I said, goes back into the tax-free retirement. And this is where the IUL comes in as well, which is you're saving for retirement. And this is going to be growing tax-free for you. And that is an account that I'll be able to walk you through as well, which is having a tax-free retirement account. Because I know a lot of us talk about 401k, that's what we're told in the middle class. 401k is going to be there when we retire. But with the way I had a client I was speaking with not too I think it was 2 weeks ago. We were having a conversation. So what I have money in my 401k. I said, well, have you looked at it lately? Because most folks, if I ask everybody on this call now, who is your 401k provider from your job? Most people will tell me what I do through work. Do you even know who the provider is? Do you know what how are those money growing? And mind you, in your traditional 401k account, you're paying somebody 2% every year to manage that account of not 2% of what the value of the portfolio is. So let's look at it this way. You have $100,000 in there over the years, and you're paying somebody 2% every year. That's $2,000 every year. And you may say, well, $2,000 over 100,000 is not a lot. But if you multiply that by 30 years, that's $60,000. And mind you, that is with the 401k losing money when the market crashes and the market cycles out almost every 10 years. So you may say, oh, I have 100,000 today. Tomorrow the market crashes and you lose 40% of it. You're left down with 60,000. Maybe in the next couple of months it comes back up and you gain 50% back. But you're thinking you're not getting $100,000 back. You're getting 50% of 60,000 at this point. So you're already losing money in that account. And with all of this up and down in this account, you're still paying somebody to manage this for you.
But then what about the accessibility of the funds? Because a lot of this is like you have to invest, you have to let it generate, and to draw down on it, there's penalties or there's taxes that are involved.
And I'm glad that you asked that. With an index annuity, especially, it's a tax, like I said, it's a tax-free account. You can get your money out when you need the money. Goes back into your age, because at the end of the day, it's not a one-size-fits-all for everyone. It's more about each individual. How old are you, right? How much are you putting into this account? Because we're not going to say, it's just like everything that we do, we have to let it grow, right? So you're not planting a seed today and expecting it to grow tomorrow for you to be able to get the harvest. So it is a lot of factors that I cannot give you a definite answer. It's an individual thing. I have to sit with you, see what your goals are, and see how we can make sure that goal, when the time comes, because we cannot have a goal today, set today, and expecting it to be tomorrow we can get the harvest on it. What is the long-term goal? What are you trying to get accomplished? And we'll understand those goals, then how do we work? What services, what accounts are out there that can work best to get that goal accomplished in the time frame that you've agreed upon?
Yeah, I mean, and it can be multiple goals. It can be something as simple as I want to have 3 months worth of living expenses, cash flow in my account ready to go, or I want to become financially independent, not have to work, and have money coming in regularly without me, working.
Correct. And I say this to people, especially when we talk about the $1 million baby, and sometimes you'll be like, what is that? Like in my community, and I have been to several birthday parties. Well, this is April now, right? at least, where people are throwing $20,000 birthday party for 5-year-olds. For you to have that child secured, you can save $4,000 for this same child once a year, not every month, in a year, and let that money grow over years. By the time that child is 50 years old, is a millionaire. Or you can spend $20,000 to a party, and they probably don't. I bet you they don't remember.
No, I'm assuming if somebody has 20K to throw towards a birthday party, they already have all those other things set. But like you said, you'd be surprised how many.
It's very shocked. I've had conversation with people, and we're talking about this, and it's like, well, I think most of these parties are for the parents, actually, not for the children, in my opinion. So I said all this to say everybody to each his own, right? Whatever it's just about, and this is why I think this very passionately is most of the things that we do is what was done to us as a parent, because what is how we were raised, it becomes a culture, it becomes generational transfer. So I say this, instead of transferring generational debts to our children, why don't we change that trajectory into generational wealth? I don't intend for my children to go to, I have student loan, which I'm still struggling with to pay back, right? I don't want my children to be saddled with that yoke, because I think it is a yoke. And who are the people that I guess more into this? It's middle class. We work very hard. We just have to learn to make sure that our money is working for us as well. And going back into the college saving fund for the little ones to go to college, 529 that most people do. There's a lot of restrictions of 529. If it's open in the state of Texas, if your child decides to go to school in New York, there's going to be a penalty for that. It has to be used in the state it was open. And then what if the child decided they want to go to college? What's going to happen? That money was meant for college, so it cannot be utilized for all that, or less is going to be a penalty attached to that as well. And the 529 as well, it goes through the market. It's based on the market success. So why would you want to do that? You're working and putting this money in this account, right? Why don't we put it in an account that is going to ensure that this account is growing and it's not being affected by market loss? And above all, if your child decides to want to be an athlete, you can take some money out of that to pay for the athletic gears. You can do that. Or the parents just want to go to college. They don't go to college or they get a scholarship, because the 529, because you have a 529 for your child, is going to affect the amount of scholarship they can get when it's time to go to college, or even financial aid, because the parents have some money saved. But an index doesn't count. It doesn't affect how much funds they can get for college when that time comes. So those are one of the things. I say this: the more we know, and I can guarantee you this: the more we know, the better decisions we're going to be making, because we're only making choices now based on the information that we have.
Mm-hmm. So can you share your contact info, Sandra, so people can make appointments with you?
Absolutely. I'm Sandra Basselhand, and that's very good. I would send it to you, and my number is 972-330-9957.
I think like you need to come back again and talk to more
Definitely.
to more women. Yeah, because we are all in the business of taking care of everybody and not taking care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I just learned something from the last thing you said about the 529. My kids have that. And by the time I get off this call, I'm going to run to my husband and say, how come we don't have an index account for this children instead of the 529? We live in Ohio currently, and I do not want to live in Ohio for a long time.
What part are you in?
I'm in Inglewood, which is close to Dayton.
Oh, I'm actually from Columbus. I went to
wow.
Yes, I went to Kent State University up north, and my family still lives there. It's too cold, which is why I'm here.
Yes, I intend moving, but I'm in school. I'm in nursing school now. By the time I'm done, we are ready to move. So now that you mentioned the 529 and we have an account for both our daughters here, I'm gonna need to ask my husband some questions and go, okay, can this be moved? What's the plan? Do we need a different backup from the things you said? And definitely I will be booking an appointment. But back to the women, I think it's important that we stretch this financial campaign for especially the immigrant women. Some of these terminologies and outlets we have no clue about. We just know what the workforce gives to us. Some of us are with Fidelity or with Voya, and that's all we know. That's basically all we know. We don't know how to multiply the money. And some of us did not come here in our youth, in quotes. Some came in their 30s and their 40s and were just trying to play catch up. So, any way to double the speed, that's where we're at, because if you came in your teens and your 20s, you have like a 40 to 50 work lifespan to save up money. But if you came in your 30s or your 40s, you have give or take 20, 25 years of work. So we need the information on how to double the effort and see better results within that time frame. So I do think that Miss Cassandra needs to come back, and we also need to maybe drop some cliplets on our page so the women know what they missed, and we gotta do it again, because if everything is right and our money is not right, then everything is not right.
And something that one of the reasons why that I'm so passionate about this, and besides just being financially free and having time with my boys, is he has given me the permission to share this. So I currently have a friend right now that is on dialysis 3 days a week. And the difference between when people are sick and they're worried about where the next meal is coming from, and somebody's in a hospital. He was hospitalized for 2 weeks. And the only thing he complained about in the hospital when I was in there, I spent a lot of time with him. We were even playing cards and playing board games. When am I getting out of this hospital bed? Because I want to go on a trip. And I say this to say, how many people are in the hospital on 3-day dialysis worried about going on their next trip? He had a policy 20 years ago that paid him out $900,000. You listen? He didn't get it from me, because obviously I'm a 20-year-old. So I was, that's one little joke. But the point I'm trying to make is these things have been here. This is why the wealthy gets wealthier and the poor keeps continuing to be poor. Because we're told, put your money in the bank, because whenever you walk in there, you can get it. But the banks that you're putting your money with, they put your money in life insurance. They get 13% on the interest on that money, then they give you 0.1%. So now, there he is, paid out 3 years ago from New York Life, $900,000. So he's sitting in the hospital bed. He said, when am I going on my next trip? He's worried about what am I going to invest my money on? Why am I saying this? So when people say, why do I have to do life insurance? I have life insurance at work. Yes, you do. But when you leave that job, that policy is not going anywhere with you. Is it? No, it's not. It looks like we're almost in a recession right now. People are getting laid off every other day, right? So your insurance that you think you have at work is going to be laid off as well when that happens.
I also think the problem with life insurance, sorry, Sandra, is that the average person gets told life insurance is for when you die, you get a payout. That's it. And they don't understand that it's a different type of investment strategy.
Yes.
There's a lot of life insurance, the term life insurance, which I call that Russian roulette, because I'm betting against my life. Well, do I die at year 19 so that my insurance will pay out since it's going to expire in the 20th year? We have that. Those are relatively, most people get that. And to be fair, something is better than nothing. I will say this. Let's start from that, because I will not tell you, IULs are more, it is an investment. Let's put it that way. So it's something that you have to think about. But if you really think about it, we're having our money. Most people put their money in the banks. If that money is sitting in the bank and you're getting 0.1%, why don't you put it into an IUL where you're going to be getting at least 7% of your money, and you can get the money back whenever you need it? But nobody's going to tell you that. They tell you go put it in the bank, because you walk into the brick and mortar bank, you can get your money out. So we just need to, and I say this, we just need to be educated. The more educated we get financially, because we go to college, a lot of people have PhDs. They have, like you said, Ms. Fumi, you're in school. Did anybody ever teach any financial literacy class in college? Absolutely not. And most middle class people were so busy trying to put food on the table, we don't even know enough to teach our children. So now we are perpetuating this quote unquote cycle to our children. And I started with this. I have student loans I'm still dealing with. And I don't want my children to be dealing with that. I don't, because I think that's going to be the disservice of the next generation, because these kids, our children, are having to compete not on a level playing field, because some folks are already there because they were already, the parents already sent them up from when they were little. And what, just like you said, rightfully so, we're playing catch up. And we cannot continue to do that catch up for another generation. I don't think it's fair on these children.
Not only that, but what you said earlier, a lot of us send money back home and we don't even understand how we could be benefiting from that. Do we claim them as dependents? Like, this is more of a tax conversation.
There you go. Yes.
But to have money that is like, say, if we could just say, the money that I'm gonna send back home is coming from this area and I don't even have to worry about it, not even dip into these funds for that, that'd be a huge relief for some people.
One of my pet project is philanthropy work. It's something that I was born in Nigeria. I know what it is to live with, and I see what it is not to have that. So one of the things I'm very passionate about: women, orphans, and widows. That is my passion in life. I'm not here, so people that know me know what I do. But the point I'm trying to make is, I know how many children I'm supporting their education in Nigeria. I do not know them. Those are not my kids. They're not my relatives. My parents live here. My whole family lives in the US. So why I am a cybersecurity analyst. So my income is, I'm comfortable in my line of work. Why did I get to doing this? The difference I'm making in my community by educating people, especially women, because women are the backbone of the home. A woman, you will give her $1, she will find a way to stretch that dollar to make sure that her children are fed and there's a roof over their head. So now, instead of just keep stretching the dollar that's not stretching anymore in this economy, why don't we find other ways? And this is why I decided to do this. And I'm not only doing this, I own my own business and I have that extra income. And I've been doing this since May of last year. On the side, I've made over $50,000 just by having a conversation like I'm doing now. I'm not doing anything extraordinary. And people are seeing value because you're looking at it. Okay, this money is not adding up. And what am I doing with that money? I'm able to not put that extra budget into my already budget of my regular home, taking that extra income to be able to do more in what I wanted to do with my passion of doing humanitarian work, helping widows and orphans. So I'm able to do that. So that is why I am passionate. Every time I talk about this, my face glow up. I'm a techie. I sit in front of computers all day. I don't like to, I always said I didn't want to talk. I don't know how to talk to people because I'm used to being in front of the computer. But when I do this, because I see the joy that I bring to a family, I was able to have my friend have life insurance that went through cancer 10 years ago. I had to fight with the insurance company. She's cancer free. She can be able to get qualified. Those are the things that give me joy because I know her family is secured. When she was going through that treatment 10 years ago, I knew how much financial burden that placed on her family because she's the breadwinner of the home. That is why I am passionate about this. And I'm welcome to come back whenever you want to have me and we can have this conversation more.
Thank you, Sandra. It's been really, really helpful to hear your thoughts. And I'm sure that everybody here is going to be saving your number and sending you a text message for an appointment. When people reach out to you, you prefer phone then? Is WhatsApp okay?
WhatsApp is fine. My phone is fine. And you have my email address. And of course,
Could you share it with us again, please?
it's Esosa. It's a long one. You know what? While we're here,
Yeah, can you type it into the chat, please?
Yes, please.
Good. I will put my information here.
Wonderful. Yeah. So we'll put this on the Facebook group, on the Instagram. And we'll definitely have the opportunity for people to share or to contact you.
And I know you said I'm not a tax, I will preference this by saying I'm not a tax expert. However, I am in the income bracket where I usually get a lot of tax burdens at the end of every year. And this is the first year that I did not have to cry this year, simply because I did this since I'm a business owner. I get to write a lot of things off in my taxes. And besides helping others, that's something that helps me because the past several years have not been fun when I'm writing Uncle Sam's refund check. I don't get a refund. Uncle Sam gets a refund from me due to my income bracket. but this is the first year that I got a refund. So that is the beauty of owning your own business as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a complicated conversation, and I think what you're saying is absolutely right, that everything is really depending on your situation. How do you get your income? Are you a self-employed? Are you employed as a W-2? Are you a 1099? So it's not just talking to Sandra, it's also having a good relationship with an accountant and
Correct.
build this big picture that, like you said, companies do, and companies like benefit from it, but the individual working class person just says, get a job and get a paycheck, and then you'll live a happy life. And that's just not the standard anymore.
It's not. Based on the recession, based on the inflation right now, yes, that's math is not mathing like the millennials would say. So we need to find we need to come up with a different plan.
Right. Right, Sandra, well, we definitely appreciate your time and thank you so much for being here. I hope we can do part 2 of this pretty soon.
I hope, thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciated the time and the audience, and I look forward to speaking with you guys soonest.